When Steve from Minecraft turns evil and decides to destroy all the creepers, only the mutant creeper can stop him. Can I become the strongest mutant creeper ever and defeat Steve before there are no creepers left? On day 1, I woke up as a baby creeper and I was trapped in some kind of dungeon. There was a really old-looking creeper in there with me too.
Ah, Bumpy, you've finally woken up. Good. It's almost time.
Wait, time for what?
They're coming to choose the next ones they'll take away.
Wait, what do you mean? Who's coming to take us away?
Steve, shh, they're getting close.
Nope, not these ones. We need ones that'll provide us with the most fuel.
Wait at the back of the cell. When they come, you need to be ready.
What do I need to be ready for?
You'll see.
That small one looks interesting. Wait, this might be the mutant creeper. Take him.
This ends now, Steve. Bumpy, run!
The old creeper charged towards Steve, flashing like he was about to explode.
What? But the serum!
The explosion was so loud it left my ears ringing. That old creeper, he sacrificed himself so I could escape. I couldn't let his sacrifice be in vain. Thank you. I won't forget this.
No, don't let him escape!
I hurried out of my cell and into the hallway. There were other cells too, and they were all full of other creepers. What was Steve doing to all of them? I'm sorry, I'll come back for you all. After dodging a bunch of Steve's zombie guards, I finally found some sort of abandoned mine shaft. Maybe I could escape through here.
Not so fast!
Steve and his zombies, they'd finally caught up to me.
Don't make this any harder on yourself, creeper!
The only hard thing is how hard I'm gonna kick your butt when I get back here.
Get him!
Suddenly, I felt a power welling up within me, but it wasn't like a regular creeper explosion. This was something else. I saw a spark ignite on the ground right where the zombies were charging. The next time you see me, I won't be running away. I channeled all that energy within me and detonated it in a remote explosion. The blast blew up the zombies, and then the whole tunnel started rumbling.
I'll find you, creeper!
The name's Bumpy, and don't you forget it! On days 2 through 5, after escaping from Steve's creeper prison, I was on the run in the woods, being hunted by his zombies. I was able to keep hidden, and once the coast was clear, I found a nearby tree and punched it until I got enough wood to build a crafting table. After that, the first things I made were a wooden pickaxe and a wooden sword. Some protection was better than none, and I couldn't just go around using my remote explosion powers. That'd draw too much attention. Uh-oh, looks like they're on to me. Time to run. I started to head in the other direction, only to see more zombies that way too. I was trapped. All right, guess I gotta fight. Glad I made this sword. The zombos were swarming in all around me, and my wooden sword wasn't doing a lot of damage. But if I used my explosion power, the sound would draw in even more. Each time the zombies managed to land a hit, took off a small chunk of my health. But because I was just a baby creeper, I didn't have much to begin with. I needed to clear a path and started fighting my way through them, trying to get away from the horde. Almost there! Finally, I managed to cut my way through all the zombies, but that wasn't going to stop the rest from following me. I needed to find somewhere to hide and rest and maybe craft myself a better weapon. I wasn't going to defeat Steve with a wooden sword after all. On day 6, I stumbled into a cave exhausted, but almost immediately I heard the sound of spiders. I didn't want to deal with them in this state, but then I saw it. 3 giant spiders attacking a small one that was completely white. I couldn't just let it be bullied like that. As tired as I was, I needed to step in. Hey, quit picking on him. Can't you see he's just a little guy? Then again, I'm still pretty little too. This probably wasn't the smartest idea. You know, I really didn't think this through. Suddenly, the spider spewed out a bunch of webs, and I was stuck. This was going from bad to worse. I should just say, creepers taste very bad. Suddenly, that little white spider jumped in between me and those other spiders, like it was trying to protect me. But he was too small, and one of the big spiders hit him hard and knocked him down. I wasn't even sure if he was alive. I need to do something. Maybe I could use my powers? I charged up all that explosive energy and tried to channel it into the webs, and it worked! I was able to blow up the webs and free myself. Now it was time to turn things around. Stay away from him! I wasn't doing much damage, but I think I had them intimidated because they started backing off. That's right, you don't mess with the Bumpy. I pressed my attack, rushing in at them with all my fury. It was working! The spiders all turned and ran! And don't come back! With those other spiders gone, I hurried over towards the little one. Hey, you all right, buddy? He didn't look so good. He wasn't moving at all. Suddenly, the spider hopped back up. Guess he hadn't been hurt so bad after all. And also, for some reason, the squeaking sounds kind of made sense to me. No problem. Happy to help. Do you know somewhere safe to rest? I'm not doing so well. Sounds like he knew somewhere to go. All right, little guy, lead the way. By the way, what's your name? Legs? Cool name. Good to meet you, Legs. I'm Bumpy. On days 7 to 9, Legs showed me around the cave. I couldn't understand everything he was saying, but it was enough. I found a little underground lake and caught us some fish, which we turned into a tasty meal. And later, Legs found me some iron ore, which I mined out with my pickaxe and turned into an iron sword. This was going to be a lot more useful on those spiders if they came back, or even better, on Steve and his zombies. On day 10, Legs and I were exploring the cave when we came across a tunnel we hadn't seen before. But the weird thing is, there was a light at the end of it. Where do you think it leads, Legs? Yeah, I'm curious too. Let's check it out. We headed down the tunnel, and the light got brighter and brighter until we found ourselves in some sort of weird room. Oh, what is this place?
Welcome to the Keeper's Library, Bumpy.
Sorry for intruding. We were just lost. That's when I saw it. An odd-colored creeper with a very wise look in their eyes.
I am the Keeper, and I hold the lore of our people. And you are the Mutant Creeper, the most powerful among us.
Wow, sounds kinda cool, I guess.
If you are to defeat our enemy Steve, you must first learn the lore of the Creepers. Our story begins long ago. This is the pyramid of the Pharaoh Amen, a cruel and terrible king.
My people, I, your glorious and righteous Pharaoh, require your service.
They don't seem too happy. What does this have to do with the creepers, though?
All shall be explained.
We require volunteers to see our land prosper.
This guy really doesn't seem well liked.
Very disappointing. Bring me the first volunteer.
I don't like where this is going.
You have been chosen. The kingdom honors you for your service.
Wait, what is that stuff?
That is the goo.
And so begins a new era for our kingdom. Guards, throw him in.
This is pretty messed up.
And watch what comes next.
It's a creeper.
Yes, the first of our kind.
Yes, the transformation worked.
Uh-oh, it's going to blow.
This is better than I even imagined. Guards, bring the rest of the volunteers.
It was the mutant creeper who freed us from the Pharaoh, just as you must free us from Steve.
So how do we do that?
You must find the goo. That is the source of our power. It will make you stronger.
Sounds like a plan. So where do we find the first source?
The first is in the Ice Spike Mountains, but you must be careful. Steve will be searching too.
I'll be careful. Wait, you're coming too, Legs? Wow, thanks, buddy. I appreciate the company.
Good luck, Bumpy. Remember, the creepers are relying on you.
Don't worry. I won't let you down. I spent the next few days traveling the overworld with Legs, heading towards the Ice Spike Mountains, which we could see far off in the distance. One day, we were walking nearby a village, and even though we stayed well away, they still must have seen us, because a big group of them came out. Uh-oh, they don't look happy. Hey, cool, Legs. Hey, don't mind us. We're just, whoa! Suddenly, the villagers started shooting arrows at us. What kind of rural hospitality was this? Legs, run! We started to run, but one of the arrows hit me, and it hurt quite a bit. Luckily, the humans didn't seem to want to get too close, and once we got out of distance, they decided to leave us alone. Definitely not coming back to visit again. On days 20 to 25, Legs and I finally reached the Ice Spike Mountains. It was really, really cold. Luckily for me, I had a literal explosion inside me that kept me warm, but Legs was shivering like crazy, so I made him a little fire, and that seemed to help him a lot. We still had a long way to go to get to the mutant creeper's resting place, but at least with my friend by my side, the journey wasn't quite so lonely. On day 26, Legs and I were making our way through the ice spikes. This place sure was dangerous, and we were awfully high up. It wasn't so bad for Legs, for obvious reasons, but creepers weren't made for mountain climbing. I had to be very careful not to lose my balance. Whoa! A little patch of ice caused me to slip and almost fall. That was a little too close. Then I heard my voice echoing out across the mountain. Why do I have a bad feeling about this? Why do I have a really bad feeling about this? From up the mountain came a deep rumbling sound, and when I looked up, all I saw was a wall of white snow heading toward us from above. It was an avalanche! There wasn't much time to think, it was all coming down so quickly. Legs, look out! As the avalanche hit us, everything turned white. There was so much snow, and it was so heavy. I couldn't see anything. anything, didn't even know where I was, and I tried to keep my footing on the ledge, but I could feel myself being swept away. When the snow finally cleared, I was dangling off the edge of a cliff. Oh man, this isn't looking good. I could feel my grip slipping, but it was too icy, and then I was falling until suddenly I wasn't. I looked up and I saw a rope of web keeping me up. It was legs! Legs, thank you! Legs started pulling me back up, and then I was back on the cliff. My little spider friend had saved me. I really owe you one, buddy. How about we don't do that again? That was a little too close for comfort. Finding this goo was turning out to be a lot harder than I thought it'd be. On day 27, we finally made our way towards the cave where the first mutant creeper was supposedly buried. It was a little tricky, but Legs and I had managed to navigate the floating chunks of ice to get to it. There were a few more close calls because the ice was so slippery, but eventually we made it. Good job, Legs. Are you ready to see what's inside? Legs and I headed inside through the long, icy hallway. The bones strewn around this place weren't exactly making me feel good, but they were pretty old. I'm sure this place was completely abandoned by now. Look, Legs, there it is! I spotted the goo at the top of the cave, but it was completely frozen in ice. Wow, so this is where the first mutant creeper was buried. R.I.P. Since we couldn't get to the goo like this, I knew what I had to do. Stand back, Legs. I charged up my remote explosion power and directed it towards the ice. Not enough to bring the cave down, just enough to shatter it. Here goes. I sent all of my energy into the ice and it broke into pieces. I could get to the goo now. What was that? Suddenly, I was starting to think this place wasn't abandoned at all. Before I could even finish the thought, some giant blue ape thing dropped down from the ceiling, and he didn't look happy to see us. The Yeti let out a roar and charged straight at me, but luckily I was able to dodge out of the way in time. Legs, watch out! I'll handle this. I reached into my inventory and took out my iron sword. This thing looked tough, but I had defeated tougher things in my time. Come and get me, if you even can. I managed to dodge the Yeti again, this time getting a few good hits in. He was big, but slow, and I was small and quick, which was pretty much my only advantage. My explosion powers weren't recharged yet, so I knew I was going to have to rely on my own skill with a sword. This fight seemed pretty unfair, but somehow I think I was winning. At least if by winning, you meant that I hadn't been turned into ice cream by this overgrown snow cone. I thought monkeys were supposed to be smart. I could tell the Yeti was getting low on health. This was my chance to finish it off. I dodged its next strike and unleashed my hardest hit on it. Yes, I defeated it. That's gotta be worth some good XP. With the Yeti defeated, now I could finally use the goo. But what was I supposed to do with it? What do you think, Legs? I was hoping you wouldn't say that. Looks like I didn't have much of a choice. I was going to have to swim in the goo. Here goes nothing. Hup, I jumped into the goo, and it was surprisingly warm. I guess that made sense, considering the creeper's explosion powers came from this. It was really gooey, too. Kind of like swimming in honey or something like that. Ugh, it definitely didn't taste good, though. Wait, I think I'm changing. I could feel myself growing. This was definitely working. When finally it stopped, I hopped out of the goo and back onto the ice. How do I look, Legs? I was an adult creeper. I definitely had more health, and I'm pretty sure my powers increased too. Not too shabby.
Ha! Found you now!
I looked across the cave, and there was Steve, and he brought an army of zombies with him too. You're too late, Steve. I already got the goo.
That's no problem. I'll just have to take you instead. Zombies! Get them!
Steve sent his zombies towards us. Guess this was the perfect time to test out my new powers. I charged up my full blast of remote explosion, and it was even more powerful than I expected. Yeah.
Ha! You didn't even hit any of my zombies!
That's because I wasn't trying to. Suddenly, all the ice on the roof began to crack and started falling down in big chunks, crushing the zombies one by one.
No! Don't let them escape!
Sorry, Steve. Don't worry. I'll come and defeat you soon. Come on, Legs. As the cave started coming down all around us, Legs and I booked it out of there as fast as we could. It wasn't time to take on Steve yet, but we were one step closer at least. After our trip to the Ice Spike Mountains, Legs and I returned to the Keeper's library to tell them about our success.
Well done, Bumpy. But you must find more goo to attain your true form.
So where's the next goo?
You will find it where the one known as the Creep Lord was killed.
Whoa, the Creep Lord? Sounds awesome!
He was evil. It was he who started the war with the humans that turned them against us.
Wow, this Creep Lord sounds like a jerk.
He was. But there still is a chance for peace if we can defeat Steve.
Don't worry, Keeper. I won't let you down.
I believe in you.
All right, Legs, time for our next adventure. On days 37 to 40, Legs and I were traveling through the lands when we came across another creeper. Only he looked like a farmer?
Well, hello there. Ain't seen you around here before.
Oh, yeah, we're not from here. My name is Bumpy, and this is Legs.
Nice to meet you, Bumpy. And Legs, too, of course. You can call me Papa Sploder. At least my kids do. What brings you about these parts?
We're on a quest to stop Steve from turning the creepers into weapons.
Well, now, that's a mighty noble quest of yours. Tell you what, why don't you come on in and meet my family? We'll make you some food before you continue your journey.
That sounds great, thanks. Papa Sploder brought us into his house, which was a pretty nice place. He introduced us to his whole family, Mama Sploder and his kids, Lucy and Joey. Lucy got really pink when I introduced myself.
Nice to meet you, Bumpy.
Nice to meet you too. After dinner, we got to stay for a little while to rest and recover from our journey. The Sploders were a really nice family, though Lucy seemed to have a bit of a staring problem.
So, you're going after Steve, you say?
That's right, he needs to be stopped.
Yep, he got one of my distant cousins, apparently. There ain't many of us creepers left. We're pretty safe here, though, far from human towns.
Don't worry, I can defeat him.
You're so brave, Bumpy.
Thanks, I guess.
I heard Steve used to be a hero, you know. Then one day, one of his friends was killed by a creeper. Since then, he's been out for revenge.
I just hope one day humans and creepers can be at peace again.
Yep, I do as well. Anyways, you can stay here for the night. Get some rest. Lucy, why don't you show our guest to the spare room?
Thanks, we really appreciate it. After we stayed over at the Sploder farm, Legs and I said our goodbyes and headed out on our journey. Following the instructions the keeper gave us, it didn't take long until we found the cave of the Creep Lord. You ready for this, buddy? We ventured deeper into the cave, and it was surprisingly warm down here and smelled of sulfur, which basically meant it smelled like rotten eggs. Ugh, gross. Anyways, we worked our way through the tunnels, but it was pretty dark. Then I stepped on something sticky. Ah, what is that? I looked down and realized to my horror, they were spider webs. Legs, did you have an accident? Suddenly, from out of nowhere, a massive black spider dropped down in front of us. Relative of yours, Legs? The giant spider started shooting webs right at me, but I was quick enough to get out of the way. I didn't want to use my explosion powers in here in case it caused a cave-in, but my iron sword probably wouldn't cut it against something like this. Little busy here, Legs. I looked over towards my friend and saw something gold and shiny sticking out of the webs. It was a sword! Legs, you're the best! I rushed over, dodging all of the spider's webs, and reached in to grab the sword, but it was stuck, and that giant spider was closing in on me. Uh-oh! Just as the big one was about to get me, Legs jumped in to get its attention. Thanks, Legs! I took hold of the sword's handle and heaved at it with all my strength. Come on! Come on! The sword finally pulled free! It was heavier than it looked, but really sharp. You're going down now, you eight-legged monster! No offense, Legs. I rushed at the spider with my new weapon, and my hits seemed to be doing a lot of damage. It still hurt when it landed one on me, but now that I wasn't a baby anymore, I could take a lot more without going down. I got a few more good strikes in on it, and then poof, it was done. Nice teamwork, Legs. After we defeated the spider, we went deeper into the cave to find the Creep Lord's resting place. But when we did, we discovered that Steve had been here first. No! He got the goo! This wasn't good. If Steve had the goo, that would make him even more powerful. I needed to return to the keeper and let them know what happened. On our way back from the Creep Lord's cave, we stopped by the Sploder farm, only there was nobody home. Hello? Papa Sploder? Lucy? Is anybody home? This was weird. Where would they have gone? Got a bad feeling about this, Legs. We checked around the farm a little more, but everything was really quiet. Hello? It's me, Bumpy. I'm back.
Bumpy?
Lucy, is that you? Where are you? Lucy came out from where she was hiding, and she looked really scared. What happened?
I was out in the fields when it happened. Zombies came and they took everyone away.
That's terrible.
Please, Bumpy, you have to save them.
Don't worry, Lucy. I'll get your family back. But first, we need to talk to the Keeper Creeper.
Creeper?
You'll see soon enough. Trust me, if anyone can get your family back, it's me. And Legs too, of course. On days 49 to 54, I took Lucy back to meet with the Keeper Creeper and to figure out our next step. We had to get to the next source of goo before Steve did.
Wow, what is this place?
This is the Keeper's library, young one.
Captain. The Keeper Creeper here knows the whole history of our people. They're helping me stop Steve.
Indeed. But you look no different, Bumpy. Were you not able to locate the goo?
Steve got there first.
Then we must hurry to our next goal.
Where do you think we'll find it?
There is one last place we are certain to find what we need, but it will be the most dangerous of them all.
I'm ready, Keeper. Tell me where it is.
In the pyramid of Pharaoh Amun.
I left Lucy behind at the Keeper's library. Going to the Pharaoh's pyramid was going to be really dangerous, and I didn't want anyone else to get hurt. Lex came along, of course. He was my adventuring buddy after all. We had a long way to go. First across the plains, and then into the desert. And on the way, we had a few unfortunate encounters. Look out, Legs! I think those humans saw us. From across the field, a group of villagers was coming straight towards us. I was getting tired of running away. Stay back! We're on a quest! Okay, but don't say I didn't warn you. I charged up my remote explosion power and sent it hurtling towards the villagers. It blew up on the ground right in front of them in a big explosion. I didn't want to hurt anyone, of course, just to scare them away. They all ran off back to their village, and I felt kinda bad. Humans and creepers were never going to get along at this rate. I needed to do better. You're right, Legs. Before anything else, we need to stop Steve. Come on, the pyramid awaits. On days 62 to 67, Legs and I had finally reached the desert biome. It was sweltering hot, and I'm pretty sure my sweat was flammable, so we didn't want to stay any longer than was necessary. We plodded through the harsh, cracked dirt, and I think the heat started to get to me because I started seeing some weird mirages in the distance. I'm not sure what was worse, this or the Ice Spike Mountains. To make things even more difficult, a wind started blowing, picking up all the sand and blowing it in our faces. And before we knew it, we were in the middle of a sandstorm. Careful, Legs, this is getting pretty bad. I know, follow the sound of my voice. I'm right here. The sound of the wind was so loud, I couldn't hear Legs anymore. Legs? Legs! Where are you? Then as quickly as it came, the sandstorm was gone. But as I looked around, I realized so was my friend. On day 68, I had no choice but to go on without Legs. I looked everywhere for him, but there was no sign of the little guy. And Steve was still searching for the goo. After walking for hours, I finally saw it. Rising out of the sands, the ancient pyramid of the Pharaoh. Whoa, this place is huge. Check it out, Legs. Oh, right. I stepped up to the entrance of the pyramid. It looked really dark inside, but luckily I'd brought some torches. I lit one on one of the braziers outside. I mean, at least everything inside is already dead, right? This place sure gave me the creeps. It was so dark and quiet, and the air was so dusty I could barely breathe. Still, I needed to find the goo, which I knew was in here somewhere. I tried to find my way through all the hallways, but this place was like a maze. Not to mention it was full of traps. This wouldn't be much of a story if I just ended up on one of these spikes, so I made extra sure to watch out for anything dangerous. Then after what seemed like hours, I ran into a dead end. Am I ever going to find this goo? It was so quiet in here. But what was that strange rattling sound? Wait, oh no. Don't tell me there's skeletons in here? The skeleton came right at me, trying to attack. Luckily, I had my gold sword and was able to fight it off. When I killed it, it dropped the diamond. Pretty sweet. Still, I really didn't want to have to fight my way through here. Now that I knew this place was full of skeletons, I was really wishing Legs was with me. His webs would have made this a lot easier, but I had to keep pushing on. People were counting on me. Luckily, I found more diamonds and was able to make myself a diamond sword. That made things a lot easier. I fought my way through the dead guys, dodged the traps, and checked every hallway until I finally found it. The goo! Yes! I made it here before Steve!
Who dares disturb my ancient rest?
Oh no, this wasn't good. Hello?
What? A creeper? If you have come for your revenge, you are eons too late.
Revenge? Nope, just here for the goo.
You will never leave this place alive. Minions, slay the intruder.
Oh, why does this always happen to me? The skeletons came rattling in towards me, but thanks to my new diamond sword, I was able to do a lot more damage. The only thing was, there were a lot more of them than there was of me, and I still didn't have a lot of hearts.
Your bones shall remain here for eternity.
I'm a creeper. I don't even know if I have bones. With a few more good swings of my sword, I cleared out the remaining skeletons, and just in the nick of time, my health was really low. I defeated your guards, Pharaoh. Now I've come for your goo.
You impertinent creeper!
Yeah. Why don't you go and run home to your mummy? Turns out evil pharaoh ghosts were wimps when they didn't have their guards around. Now, time for this goo. I jumped straight into the goo, and it felt pretty much like last time. I could feel my heart's increasing and my body growing in size until I barely fit anymore. And when I popped out, I was completely different. What? I'm huge! I decided to test out some of my new powers. I felt something bubbling within me, and when I spewed it out, it was melting the floors. Talk about a bad case of acid reflux. I also felt this weird sensation, like my feet were on fire, which made sense because they were. Whoa, this is crazy. I can fly. Oof. Little bit of a rough landing. So these were the powers of a mutant creeper. This was pretty awesome.
Now I've got you, mutant!
I recognized that voice anywhere. Steve.
You have nowhere to run now!
Good, because I wasn't planning on running. Steve picked the wrong time to mess with me. Now that I had all my mutant creeper powers, he was mine. You're going down, Steve. I used all of my powers, flying around and destroying all of the zombies, working my way through them until it was just the two of us left. It's over.
I might have underestimated you this time, but I won't the next.
Coward! Steve ran back into the darkness of the pyramid. He was scared. I'm gonna find you wherever you are. After Steve escaped, I returned to the Keeper's library. I had never found legs either, and I just hoped my little buddy was okay. He was tough though, so I knew he'd be fine. Now I had to talk with the Keeper and figure out my next step.
Bumpy, you return, and in your final form.
Thanks! I feel powerful. Even Steve ran away from me.
Don't underestimate Steve. You may have caught him by surprise, but he is one of the strongest warriors in this land. He will be a challenge, even in your new form.
Then I just have to train until I'm ready.
And your training begins now.
I spent the next few days practicing all my abilities. The Keeper Creeper was right. Even though I was way more powerful, I needed training to master my abilities. So I spent all day, every day, practicing as much as I could. The next time I faced Steve, I was going to end things once and for all. As it turned out, the Keeper was also teaching Lucy about the lore of the Creepers. Apparently, she might get to take over as the next Keeper. That made me more determined than ever to get her family back. Soon, I will be ready. On day 87, after spending a bunch of time training out in the caves, I returned to the library, but everything was on fire! I couldn't see much through the smoke, but then I spotted the Keeper laying on the floor! Keeper!
Bumpy, the zombies, they came and they took Lucy.
Don't talk, Keeper. You're hurt.
My time is nearly done, Bumpy. You must stop Steve and save Lucy. She holds the lore of the Creepers now.
Don't worry. I won't let you down.
Good. Now go. You are ready. Do what must be done.
I will. Thank you, Keeper. I wasn't going to let this stand. It was time to save the Creepers and end Steve for good. After leaving the Keeper's library, I traveled for days until I found my way back to the Creeper prison. Except this time, I wasn't breaking out, I was breaking in. If you're in there, Steve, I'm coming to stop your plans. I fought my way through an army of Steve's zombie guards. They weren't a match for me in my mutant creeper form, but they had enough numbers to make it a challenge. I had to be careful not to lose too much health either, because I still needed to deal with Steve personally. I took down the last of the zombie guards. First I had to free the other creepers, then I'd go after Steve. Once I got inside the prison, I could see all the creepers Steve had captured. It was terrible. I began freeing them all as quickly as I could until I got to a cell that had a familiar face. It was the Sploder family.
Bumpy, is that you?
Yeah, it's me. I've come to set you guys free.
Thank you. But Steve, he still has Lucy. He left with her not long ago. You have to save her.
Don't worry, I'll get Lucy back and defeat Steve. Now hurry, get out of here. I'll do the rest.
You're a true hero of the creepers, Bumpy.
Uh-oh, what was that sound? From down the hallway, a massive moaning zombie appeared. Looks like Steve had saved his toughest minion for last. Quick, run! I'll hold it off. As the Sploders ran, I sized up my opponent. I needed to hold it off long enough to give the other creepers time to escape. So I lit up my rocket blast and I flew right towards it. Get a load of this! Using my diamond sword, I managed to rush in and get a few quick strikes, using my speed to my advantage. But I must have overcalculated because I wasn't able to dodge one of its attacks, and it sent me flying. Ah! The hit left me laying stunned on the ground, and before I could get to my feet, the giant zombie was above me, ready to finish me off. Just as it was about to hit me with a death blow, something shot across the room and smacked the zombie. It was webs? Wait, could it be? Legs! My buddy had returned. Thanks for the assist, Legs. Now let's get this guy. With my friend by my side, I went straight back in at the zombie. This thing must have had a lot of health though, because it wasn't going down easy. Legs, watch out! Before I could react, the zombie slammed Legs with an attack, and my spider companion went down hard. I wasn't even sure if he was moving. Legs! That's it. Now I'm angry. Even though it was risky in close quarters, I couldn't let this thing win. I charged up my explosion and sent it right at the zombie. That one's for Legs! I must have been angrier than I thought because the explosion was massive. It took the zombie down hard though, and as soon as it did, I went straight to Legs. Hey buddy, you okay? Legs didn't look so good. That hit must have almost finished him off. Don't worry, I'll get you some help. But I can't just leave you. Legs was telling me to go after Steve. I didn't want to leave my friend, but he was right. I had to end this. I'll be back for you. Don't worry. On day 100, I made my way down into Steve's lair, built into a massive cave full of lava. He was going full evil villain by this point. Steve, you're done! I defeated your zombie army. Just give up now.
You creepers wreak destruction wherever you go.
It doesn't have to be like this. We can live in peace.
The time for peace is done. And so is yours!
Steve charged right at me, and he was way quicker than any zombie. He was able to dodge a lot of my attacks, but most of his were hitting me. They sure hurt a lot. I had quite a bit of health now that I was a mutant creeper, but still, this was getting dangerous. I won't let you win!
We'll see about that!
I threw everything I had at him, and finally, it looked like he was on the ropes. I kept pressing him, and I knew he was getting desperate. Too desperate. He grabbed Lucy, and he put her between us.
This isn't over! You can't stop me!
Bumpy, help!
Lucy, jump! Without even thinking, I charged up my rocket blast and went straight for Steve. No way he was going to hurt Lucy.
No!
It is over!